I cannot believe I'm stood here saying this, but Gymshark is worth $1.4 billion.
Ben first joined the gym for a similar reason to most teenagers. After realising he wasn't going to make it in football, he got a membership to gain muscle and build confidence.
I remember watching Scott Herman and Scooby every single video that they would ever upload.
He combined this passion for fitness with his interest in computing, making 2 fitness-related apps which he launched on the App Store. However, while somewhat successful, these apps couldn't transact. What he wanted as his next challenge was a website where he could sell something. So he co-founded a new company with his friend Lewis Morgan. They were to dropship supplements in which they only had to pay the supplier once they'd made a sale. And that company was named Gymshark. The trouble is, profit margins were small and it was never going to be a billion-dollar business. Until they had an idea. Nobody made the clothes that their idols would wear, so Ben brought a screen printer and sewing machine from Hobbycraft with all of his savings, and they began making stringer vests, popularised by the Australian bodybuilder Zeez.
It was a gym hack to have your top off in the gym, but obviously you didn't have your top off in the gym, and people love that.
Ben would go to uni from morning till 4, work 5 till 10 at Pizza Hut, then from 10 onwards, he would hand make Gymshark clothing. Proud of their work, they would send some of this off to their favourite fitness influencers, and this actually proved to be an effective, never done before, low-cost form of advertisement. After identifying the potential of this new concept, in 2013, they decided to assemble a team of fitness influencers to come to Body Power, a small fitness expo here in the UK. Their combined followings resulted in people flocking to Gymshark and gathered enough attention for their new Lux tracksuit to go viral on Facebook, generating £30,000 of sales in just 30 minutes. When revenue eventually reached £250,000, they both knew they were onto something big and dropped out of uni to pursue the company full-time.
If we can make ourselves look better in the gym without actually looking better physically, then that's half the battle. And if we did that, then people would keep going back to the gym.
Gymshark were essentially the first company to do influencer marketing while providing a product people actually wanted in the process. But things were only just getting started. In 2016, they were named the fastest growing company in the UK. In 2018, they did over $100 million in sales. And then in 2020, they were valued at over $1 billion, now with hundreds of influencers all across the globe. While being my favourite business growth story, their success helped incubate problems which would go on to haunt the brand if left unaddressed. Ben noticed something very early on, the power of influencer marketing. While mainstream celebrity endorsement was a thing, it cost an unjustifiable amount of money. And with the growth of social media platforms, there was a new type of celebrity forming, known as social media influencers, who were often willing to promote brands for little money, if any. So they targeted these people, starting with Lex Fitness. Of course it worked, so they found the next influencer, then the next, and the next. The look they were going for was natural bodybuilders, which they would seek out time and time again, until eventually they had built up what was viewed as this elite club of people, all associated together by the brand. As it worked on the male side, they decided to branch out and replicate the same thing on the female side. The brands created a win-win situation in which both the influencer and the brand benefited. These people gained social proof, a powerful network, and were viewed by many as authority figures. Suddenly, these were the people to learn from, and that's where the problems arise. Instead of focusing on science, many of these influencers have an "if it works for me, it'll work for you" approach, with some of them having no experience actually coaching people.
How are you 19 years old and you're gonna claim that you have a fucking booty program? What do you know about fitness? You practically hit puberty last fucking year.
The result of this is thousands of inexperienced teenagers following poor diet advice and workout programs while buying useless supplements promoted by people who have the prestige of a Gymshark sponsorship.
We have this wealth of individuals who are now just jumping from being influencers to being online coaches, and they don't have that practical experience, and it shows.
Top of the pyramid, we have regular potatoes. Put that boy right up there, away from all the good stuff. Honestly, potatoes aren't very good for you.
Now we're doing this as our first main compound movement.
This is not a compound movement.
Water starring Gymshark elite athlete Devon LeVay, aka the Decline Intelligence Press.
They were just making shit up to be different to get eyes on their videos.
I was getting so many DMs and emails of people who'd been put on really low calorie diets by other Gymshark sponsored athletes, being told things that weren't scientifically backed by other Gymshark sponsored athletes. And they were just being told things that just went completely against like the literature in sports science and in nutrition, and that could be really damaging to their health. And that really bothered me.
Natasha Ocean actually ended up leaving the company because of this issue. When the only real requirement to represent the brand is to look good at all costs while maintaining a clean image, there is bound to be controversy. Some may argue that this isn't Gymshark's responsibility. After all, they're just a clothing brand. However, these people are clearly positioned as authority figures, and their results were what were ultimately used to sell the clothes and programs. And this was clearly enough of a problem for people to leave the company.
There's no amount of money that can just make me sit back and ignore it.
But you may now be wondering, these athletes must be doing something, right? I mean, most of them are insanely lean, strong, and have large followings. Besides having good genetics, good lighting, and hard work, what could possibly be going on?
You can see anyone that has arms that are 12 inches.
Originally made for the 16-year-old Ben, with the help of Gymshark's influence, social media became peppered with unrealistic physiques, with the majority claiming natural, despite many of them living lives where the results don't match their poor diet, sleep schedule, or training time frame.
Like, the men on your Instagram page are still of that ilk of unattainable almost.
While the majority are good people, to many, the brand was now projecting an impressive but unrealistic body image, which was no longer motivating.
Yes! I love looking at muscly men on steroids and whose physiques I will never get because I don't take drugs. Yes!
Especially up until more recently, Gymshark were assisting some of the biggest problems that Ben's very fitness inspirations set out to end.
One of the most common reasons that people give up on their fitness expectations after a month or two is that they have completely unrealistic expectations. The current crop of fake natties on YouTube make this worse than ever.
You know, the quickest way to gain views is to get ripped, big, and shredded. So what do? They start taking drugs, they lie about it, and then they sell you on their bullshit advice. So you can only blame yourselves if you fall for it. And that's the number one reason why I decided I never wanted to be a Gymshark athlete. Because if you look at 99% of them, male or female, they're 100% fake. And I hate it. And it's not hurting me. That's what you guys don't understand. It's not hurting me, it's hurting you.
Give up looking like a Gymshark crew by age 20 if you're lifting natural.
When the only true requirement was to look unnaturally impressive while claiming natural. This has a few effects. Firstly, more people take steroids while claiming they don't. More people follow bad, often unhealthy advice, and body dysmorphia increases as the public's perception of natural is skewed. Now don't get me wrong, I fully understand the incentive for Gymshark athletes to hide their PED use. Once you've claimed natural, admitting that you lied could negatively impact sales, and there's also plenty of people waiting to take their place. Not to mention, there does seem to be some sort of correlation with Gymshark athletes who admit to PEDs and being fired, which doesn't help. But at the same time, fake naturals leveraging their secretive steroid use to sell stuff is morally wrong. In the nicest possible way, fake naturals are like weeds. Yeah, having one or two may look good, and isn't enough to cause widespread harm, but when they're everywhere you look, it's an issue. Nothing else can grow. It's annoying to see. Actual good content with integrity is overlooked, as beginners often assume that the better someone looks, the more they know, which simply isn't always the case. For example, this steroid-enhanced transformation was done in under a year. It doesn't automatically make the guy more knowledgeable than everyone who is not as muscular. The trouble is, we naturally follow people who are where we want to be. Why would you follow the person in elite shape after 10 years of training, when they're all of these teenagers who have achieved better results in less than half the time? The spreading virality of fake naturals is negatively impacting science-based fitness, as people want to believe in shortcuts. Now, I'm not saying we should bust into Gymshark HQ and fumigate the place. Everyone is simply asking for Gymshark to calm down with the fertilizer, focus on promoting what is healthy, sustainable, or at least honest, which, to be fair, they are beginning to slowly acknowledge this doesn't mean they need to only promote people with average fitness levels. There are plenty of high-level natural and honest unnatural influencers who have a better, more transparent connection with their audience, who can pull more sales, as Gymshark have hopefully realised with their recent efforts. I mean, even Ziz himself, who popularised the movement, was open about his steroid use. If he was still around today, he would easily be one of Gymshark's most profitable affiliates. There should be no excuse for being a fake natural in this next generation of fitness. The public's distorted perception of what fitness should be was demonstrated in the comment section of a Gymshark post, when they first started being inclusive of people along the fitness journey.
So the top comment says, "This ain't it, okay? This confidence won't unclog your arteries."
It's a shame when a fitness page feels the need to be inclusive. It's like some people think the fitness industry is some kind of elite club and you can only join it if you have a low body fat percentage.
They're showing real life. That's what's happening.
While Gymshark are notorious for being associated with fake naturals and unrealistic body standards, Ben has acknowledged these issues, and it does seem like they're slowly improving. Despite being critical of their fake natural glorification and affiliation with disingenuous or naive influencers, I'd honestly like to see this happen. I think they've had a net positive effect on the world. They're beginning to address some of these problems. I don't think Gymshark are a morally corrupt brand who don't learn from their mistakes. They just happen to be the first to do what they're doing. The main problem was their speed of response to unforeseen issues, which arose as a result of this new concept of influencer marketing. If Gymshark wants to be the next Nike, they need to focus on a wider audience and address the issues which they definitely help create. Ultimately, they'll be more profitable sponsoring genuine, transparent, unique people who represent health holistically, which is why I think it's a good thing that people call out the bad stuff in a respectful way. It improves the quality of the information available on the internet and makes influencers think twice before giving bad advice, while encouraging companies to make better ethical decisions where the customers put first. Ben isn't stopping anytime soon, and he acknowledges and addresses criticisms to grow the company, and I don't think that there's anyone in a better position to lead the company in a positive direction. It just goes to show that making and acknowledging mistakes is okay, as long as you learn from them, and with that, I think other fitness brands should start taking note.
What's going on, guys? Vince here. Scientists at Harvard have proven that if you are not subscribed to Josh Brett, intracellular muscular photosynthesis rates screech to a halt. So don't forget to hit that subscribe button, unless of course you want to go catabolic.